What I'm going to talk about is how we become aware of soil, and unless you can name something, you can't really act toward it. So how do we, as ordinary people who will probably not personally be planting cover crops, care about it enough to help people who do plant them? I belong to a school of sociology which we call appreciative inquiry, which is you find out what's working and what's in place to make it work and what do we need to do to make it work better. So I'm not of the persuasion that convincing people about how awful things are inspires much kind of activity. What I find from people who take all these messages of the awful things that can happen really seriously is they become practically disabled, because you think, oh, well, what is this going to mean for that? But if you can see, oh, look, my neighbor is doing this really cool thing, and maybe I can do it too, it seems to be much more convincing toward bringing about real change than me proclaiming how awful things are. The messages are from what we call tacit knowledge, experiential knowledge. So getting people to have the chance to feel soil, to use soil. So for example, in the United States, we have huge movement for school gardens. So we've got kids in there, not to learn about soils, but to grow food, but they're learning about the soil because they're touching it, they're feeling it, they're doing things to improve it. And it's a great sense of empowerment. It's sort of in a time when you think, oh, all these multinational firms and global warming, there are things we can't possibly control. But you can do something about soil in your garden, in your lawn, in the park near your home, or on farmers' fields and pastures. I'm on another project where we're trying to grow oil seeds for jet fuel. And people find, oh, you know, when I rotate my crops, wheat to oil seeds, boy, my soil is better and it holds more water. And this is what, believe me, we're in a terrible drought in the Midwest of the United States. And so having a soil that has enough carbon content that it can actually hold water better is huge. So we're seeing people who are actually doing something not necessarily for soil, but saying, wow, because of this improvement in my soil, I see such a difference. I remember one farmer had gone to minimum tillage, which means basically you have to keep stuff on your soil all the time and you have to rotate your crops. And he said, you've got to come and see my night crawlers. His indicator of soil health were all those worms in the soil. And the worms were in the soil because there were microbes in the soil that they could eat. So the notion of what life there is beneath the soil had made real to him by his night crawlers. And by the way, he did fish too.